Morning, I am Annalisa Socievole and I'll present the work on community detection in attributed graphs with differential evolution. This is a joint work with Clara Pizzuti. We are both from the Institute for High Performance Computing and Networking from the National Research Council of Italy. The problem of identifying communities in networks has been largely studied in these last years. Commonly, communities are groups of nodes with many internal links between them and few links with the external nodes. However, many of the real-world networks with which we deal with are characterized by nodes, links, and attributes on nodes and/or links, as in the example figure, where, as you can see, each node, which represents an individual, has three kinds of attributes like a hobby, a kind of degree, and the age. Since both the attribute and the link data have been shown to provide a better understanding of community structure, in this work we consider both aspects in studying an algorithm for community detection. The problem we tackle is the following. Given an attributed graph defined by a four-tuple with a set of vertices V, a set of edges E, a set of attributes A, and a set of functions F, where each node has a set of attributes values obtained by the functions, we aim to find a partition C of the nodes such that the intra-cluster density is high and the inter-cluster density is low concerning the structure, and the nodes belonging to the same community are similar, while nodes of different communities are quite dissimilar concerning the attributes. For solving this problem, we focus on a particular evolutionary computation technique, which is differential evolution. This technique was originally proposed for solving problems defined on continuous space, but then it has been applied also on combinatorial problems. Generally, a problem solved with a differential evolution algorithm is characterized by four steps. The initialization step, where a population P of n-dimensional target vectors that represent the individuals are randomly generated. The mutation step, where each target vector X generates a mutant V, applying a certain mutation operator. Several operators have been defined so far. Some of them are listed in the table, as you can see. The next step is the crossover, where a trial vector U is generated from the mutant vector V and the target vector X. And finally, with the selection step, the target vector X at the t+1 generation is selected by considering the value of the objective function on U and X at the previous generation, and if U has a better function value, then it's selected as new target vector, otherwise it's selected X. In our work, we propose a community detection method for attributed graphs named AtNetDE, which is based on the previous general differential evolution schema. The method exploits as fitness function a function derived from the unified distance measure, which combines attribute similarity between nodes and their links. Such kind of combinatorial problem need a particular representation for the individuals, otherwise the mutation operator can generate infeasible solutions. Our algorithm exploits the indexed locus-based representation based on the relative position index strategy. Basically, the target vector and hence the solution of our problem is a community. To encode a community, each element I of the vector represents the community neighbor of the node I. The particular feature of the indexed locus-based representation is that instead of using the identifier J of one of the neighbors of a node I, as in the classical locus-based representation, J is replaced with the index associated with J, obtained by enumerating the neighbors of I. To better understand, look for example to the toy attributed network in the figure. This network is clearly divided into two communities, the light blue and the orange one. As you can see from the neighbor list in figure A, node 1, for example, has neighbors 2, 3, and 4. When representing node 1, in the classical locus-based representation, node 1 has as neighbor index 2, while in the indexed locus-based, which is the one that we adopt, it has neighbor index 1. So we basically apply this kind of representation strategy. Now I'll introduce the fitness function adopted in our scheme. Due to time constraints, I will briefly describe it, so please refer to our paper for further details. We exploit the clustering unified distance measure CUDM, which is measured on a particular network division C and which is computed as a sum of all the unified distance measures D between the nodes of the communities. The unified distance measure between two nodes I and J combines the attribute distance and the similar connectivity between two nodes as a weighted sum between them, where the weights of attributes and links can be properly tuned considering the network you have, basically. The algorithm we propose, namely AtNet-DE, receives in input the graph G and the weights of the clustering unified distance measure and perform the following steps. First, run the differential evolution based method on G for a number of iterations by using CUMD as fitness function to minimize, and the DE current to round 1 mutation operator and the binomial crossover. Second, obtain the partition C corresponding to the solution with the lowest fitness value CUMD of C. Third, merge two communities if the number of inter-cluster connections is higher than the number of intra-cluster connections. For validating our algorithm, we performed several simulations using MATLAB as simulation environment. Two real-world datasets with known ground truth were considered: the citation networks Clara and Sightseer, having the features summarized in Table 1. For such kind of networks, we have chosen to equally weight the attribute distance and the similar connectivity for the clustering unified distance measure, and to equally weight each attribute of the attribute set of a network. We compared AtNet-DE in terms of accuracy and MI and F measure with the two multi-objective methods MOGA AtNet and MOIA SA. The AtNet-GA method based on genetic algorithms using the same fitness function of AtNet-DE. The augmented graph-based method KNN nearest and KNN k-means, AGGMMR SA cluster, the popular topological-based method Louvain, which does not consider the attributes, and the classical k-means clustering method, which does not consider the network structure. Table 2 and 3 clearly show the superiority of the methods based on evolutionary computation over their contestant approach. In fact, they are able to obtain the ground truth division for both the Clara and the Sightseer networks. We can observe also that the genetic algorithms need much more generations and population individuals compared to our algorithm. In conclusion, we have proposed a method based on differential evolution for detecting community structure over attributed graphs. Over two real-world networks, our algorithm equals the performance of other two evolutionary methods, but it is much more efficient since it obtains the same results using much more lesser generations and small populations. For future work, we are interested in experimenting over other networks and on analyzing other mutation operators. Thank you for your attention.
So thank you so much. Thank you so much to Clara and Annalisa. And